This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100 feet from the Gulf of America. Here are your award-winning social media superstars, the hosts of Beach Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming to our special broadcast. And for those of you that are here at Wahoo Willies and have no idea what's going on, we typically broadcast with the mayor on Sundays, but we were going to take a week off this week to celebrate Christmas and New Year's and not do any shows all weekend long. But, you know, sometimes when news happens.
And you see how long that lasted. Not even one time, not even one break, not even one.
So we do have some very important news, and the mayor is here. Come on down, Dan. The mayor of Fort Myers Beach. Is important that big hand for the mayor. It's important that the mayor is here for this announcement, because while it doesn't impact him directly, it kind of impacts him indirectly. So Dan's not even in the picture. So if Ed can come over and just kind of swivel the camera a little bit. So I don't want to, I kind of feel like I've teased it out. Just move it back and toward Dan a little bit. There we go. There he is, fully in the picture. Got a big audience. We always have a big audience watching on Sundays for the mayor, and we have a big audience today. So a lot of people have been guessing what the big news is, and the number one guess that I got was, you're going to do fireworks. You're going to do fireworks. And that is not what's going to happen.
No, that ship sailed.
Yeah. Even if we had the money to do it,
it's too late.
It's too late to coordinate the LCSO, the sheriff's department, or the sheriff's department, Coast Guard, fire department. I mean, it's the barge company, the fireworks. It just can't happen, unfortunately.
I will tell you another popular guess, and that ship has sailed as well, is that he was going to announce that I was going to have a baby. And I said,
yeah, you guys are funny over there.
If that's the announcement, someone needs to either call the Pope or the National Enquirer, because that ship done sailed.
Well, it could have been a second grandbaby. You never know.
Yeah, well, it's not coming out of my womb, though. So,
yeah, and so I don't want to delay it. Although we do have a couple of other items to talk about afterward. The big news story is that Councilmember Jim Atterholt is retiring as of today, so or the end of the year. So Councilmember Atterholt is no longer going to be on the council. Effective right now, I guess. I mean, he said at the end of the year, and I just. If you're on Facebook, I just posted his statement. He made a nice statement about why he's leaving the town council, and you can read it now if you want to on our Facebook page. And that means that he won't go to any meetings. And so if anyone wants to understand how the process is as they read the statement, Jim was just voted in last November, so he's only served 1 year of his second 4-year term. Actually, his first term, along with yours, wound up being 4 years and 8 months.
Yeah, we were because we came in 2020, and that's when the referendum was to go from 3 years to 4 years. So we had to serve an extra 8 months on top of that. So we would go down as the two longest serving council members ever.
Yeah. Now, Jim won the last election last November. You got the most votes. Jim got the second most votes. So there are 3 years left on his term. And the way the process, I don't know if the process is 100% clear, because I read the charter to see if I could understand exactly what would happen. He has 3 years left on his term. And the charter says the town council appoints somebody to fill the spot.
Yes.
But the charter says until the next election.
Correct.
Which would be in November of next year.
And that's going to be a question, I'm sure, that will be asked of Nancy and Becky at our next meeting. What does this mean? We know that the next person will be an appointee from the council members, but will it be next November, or will it be
at the end of his
at the end of
term.
his term in 2028. So that's a question we'll have to ask the attorneys when it comes up on our next meeting on the 5th.
Yeah.
It would seem, I mean, it would seem a long time to appoint somebody for the whole term and not let the people weigh in on it. But
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be based on the charter. So if you read the charter, I think Ed said it best. It's
well, he read it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like
it's not very specific.
no, it's a little bit FEMA-ish rules. It doesn't seem clear.
But, well, and that's part of the reason we're going through the charter
Yeah.
review, right? But no, Jim, you know, it's sad news. Obviously, Jim has served
Yeah.
this community for a long time. He was on the LPA before that. He and I served on the LPA together. We've kind of been attached to the hip, if you will, since we came on board. If you remember back in 2020, you know, he and I are the only ones we've served through. We've never been sworn in at a dais. We were sworn in via Zoom. We both were serving at the time of the worldwide pandemic. So both of us had to do that through Zoom. We were going to have an official kind of a dais, if you will, moment. And then obviously Hurricane Ian came and changed everything. So we've been through a lot. You think about it, we've been through a worldwide pandemic, 5 storms, and 6 town managers.
Wow.
Yeah.
In since 2020.
Yeah.
And he's served in other capacities
Oh.
outside of Florida. I mean, he's had a long career
Yeah,
serving
he's-
communities and
Well,
doing amazing things.
Yeah, Jim has had a lifelong service of public service. He obviously back in Indiana, he was on the insurance. He was involved in the insurance. He was involved with then Mr. Pence. So I mean, he's probably the most qualified, I would say, or the most
Experienced. maybe?
experienced,
Yeah.
politician of the group. But anybody that knows Jim or has seen Jim speak or has got to meet him on the street, he's always so kind. He and Brenda have always been so kind, and they do it for the right reasons. They don't do it for notoriety. They don't do it for anything other than they want to be a good public servant. And I think he did an excellent job.
Thank you.
And it's going to be sad to see him go,
It
but
is.
certainly understand.
So I have to go back to Hurricane Ian, which is really where our whole show kind of turned around. You and I had so many conversations at 820 Buttonwood. You were only, I say it only, I don't mean it in a negative way, but you were a council member at the time. You weren't the mayor. You weren't really getting a lot of information from the people in charge, but we were kind of trying to help people. And I remember we were doing the show every night of the week from our house because obviously you couldn't get Pete's Time Out was gone. You couldn't get on the island. And Jim called in one night and they stayed during the storm in their condo. And it was very emotional listening to him talk about how he dealt with watching what was going on around him. And then after that, after the storm cleared up, Jim helped out so much with the post office and with Santini Plaza and different things. He really focused on those things to try and help them get open. You know, get through the permitting process, you know, try and help with certain things. And it was a big part of the recovery, as everyone was at the time. But really, when he got focused on those things, trying to deal with the post office is like a nightmare.
I know, but even before that, you remember when we were all together and riding down, trying to get supplies down to the south end and ran into them. They were down there waiting. So
Yeah, I called Jim ahead of time.
Day 2 or 3, they were down there helping and doing. And
they were stranded. If you remember, after the storm, it was about 4 days before you could get anybody down there for medications. And you know, Jim and I communicated a lot in that time frame because he just needed answers and he wasn't getting answers. But you know, again, I go back to, you know, Jim and I have kind of been attached to the hip. When I mean that in the best possible manner. You know, we've not always agreed on topics, but I'd say 95 to 98% of the time been in lockstep of what we feel is in the best interest of the island. And you go back to, just like I said, in 2020, when we were dealing with the pandemic, he and I were the only ones that voted to keep the beaches open. They wanted to close it. Lee County, we remember that Lee County kept their part of the beach open. We closed ours down. Both Jim and I were dead fast against that. The people that are in the know thought that, you know, good vitamin D was good for you to get people outside, and we seemed to do the opposite and close the beach down instead of keeping it open where people could get outside. So, you know, and he and I were the only two that asked for our former, you know, Roger's job. I put it out there, and Jim stepped up and was the second on it, and you know, we were on the short end of the stick for a long time.
That was before the changeover when John and Karen got voted in, and then you had 4 people that wanted him gone, and it took place then.
Yeah, and then obviously since the storm, he and I have been mayor and vice mayor up until November. And he's always been great. We've always had each other's back and helping each other out with things. And if there's things I can't be to or get to, Jim would handle it, and vice versa. And to your point, Jim was very good about using his contacts to be able to get to the right people with the post office and talking in 7-Eleven down in the south end. He was very, very big in that, Santini. So he definitely understood the pulse of the island, and he definitely understood what people wanted to do. And I think that's why he and I got along so well throughout the entire time we served.
Yeah, and he's very diplomatic. I mean,
very good. Yes.
He's very good at seeing both sides of a situation. He's very good at expressing his opinion, even if it's different than whoever he's presenting it to have it make sense and be kind and be respectful of everybody's opinion. I mean, so do you, but I mean, he really has a flair for doing that seamlessly and just so well. So he is going to be.
Yeah, I said, we briefly served together on the LPA before we both went on to run for council. And I'll never forget, we were at Anita's house. She was having a thing for people that were running for council, just to be able to answer questions and talk to people and or getting ready to do it. And Jim came up to me and said, just to let you know, I'm going to be running for one of the seats. He goes, but I'm not running against you. I would like to run together. And so since the very beginning, he and I have always had that good understanding of, we're not here to bash each other. We're here to do what's in the best interest of the community and the island. And that's the way we both carried ourselves forward. And Jim is a stand-up guy.
Yeah, and if you want to go on our Facebook page and leave Jim comments, I'm sure he'll see them. I know he's got a family event going on for the holidays, so I'm sure he'll read the comments if you want to post anything underneath his statement. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but we've gotten to be good friends with you, and we've gotten to be good friends with Jim and Brenda. We actually did a marathon, not a marathon.
A
A triathlon with Jim and Brenda. Of course, I didn't do the water because I'm afraid of the water, but it was a lot of fun. And they're really super nice people. And
I will never forget. You've heard this story before, but
Did you just snort?
I did because I know what she's going to say.
Yeah. So they showed up. It was in Naples. It was a reverse try. So you swim at the end. But they were very nervous about it. And they're like, we don't have great bikes. I said, just bring whatever. You don't have to have a road bike, even if you have like a hybrid bike. And God bless them. They showed up with beach bikes.
That's awesome.
Like not the fat tire, not the big fat tire ones, but like a single speed or whatever,
a beach
maybe
bike.
3 yes. And I was, Naples, they got a lot of people down there with $2,000 bikes. People were looking at them. I said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And
wait. And I showed up with my high end bike, which I only got for $1,000 used on Facebook Marketplace. But I got one of those helmets where it cuts into the wind. Like it's one of those sharp helmets because I want to go as fast as I freaking can.
Please tell me you got on one of their beach bikes and rode that.
No.
And
I'm telling you
that would have been priceless.
They started on the run, and Brenda, for people who don't know, is an excellent runner.
Yes.
So she's like, let's run together. I'm like, yeah, for like 30 seconds because I won't make it. She was gone like a shot. Until the very end of the bike, I did not catch her. I mean, she made that bike go. And in the meantime, we all passed Jim, who broke his chain broke. And I'm like, do you want, and he's so kind and he's trying to put it back on. I'm like, I slowed down. It's more than I think Brenda did. I slowed down.
I know, I didn't.
Do you need any help? He's like, oh, no,
he
I'm
stands
fine.
up,
Just keep
oh,
on
happy
going.
as can be. Oh, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if that was me or him, the language,
you'd have probably kicked each other on the way by.
The bike would be thrown over the bridge into the water. I mean, the frustration, the big fit, but he was just as kind as could be and calm, like, nope, so that was so much fun.
He's a competitive guy. He doesn't
he is,
show it
but
like
he's so oh God, no.
But so when we were getting ready to do our pickleball, neither one of us had played, and he's like, Dan, I really think we should get together and try to hit a ball around a couple of times. I'm like, it sounds good. So Megan and I met, he and Brenda, and we went and played a pickleball for a little, like, let's do this. And he was very calculated. Like, we got it. Like,
now we find
this.
out the
He's
details.
Let's do this.
strategic. He is
So we
strategic.
practiced for about an hour, and he's like, well, it looks like we've got this. I said, yeah, they don't have a chance.
We didn't.
And we didn't.
Well,
Thanks to you.
We're both very polite. I think until we don't have to be, and we're both very competitive, believe it or not. And we showed you guys that
So
we could take on the athletic people.
just a little bit of background. I kind of found out about a week ago, and and then I think more people started to find out what was going on. So I think the town kind of moved it up to make the announcement now. And Jim didn't want it to be, like he said, when he didn't want to be vice mayor anymore. He doesn't want it to be a big drama thing. He just wants to make the announcement and move on. And so the town has also sent out a statement about what's going on. I think there's a comment from you and probably a comment from Will. I haven't seen the press release yet. And I did get comments from a bunch of other people, and I was going to read them, but I'll just post them on our Facebook page so you can see them. I know Anita's watching, and she's already posted something on there about Jim. And so I'll just post the comments and up on the page after that too, instead of read them all.
Yeah, this is probably something that this is the epitome of what he probably didn't want, but I think it's warranted, and I think it's deserved.
Sometimes you don't get what you want, Jim. We were going to make a big deal out of it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and it should be made a big deal.
Yes.
He's dedicated a lot of time,
Yes.
and he did, like many of us have done. He stepped up when he didn't have to. I mean, he could have easily ran. He could have easily he suffered just like everybody else, and he didn't. So, I mean, everybody should commend him for that. I haven't heard from one person that has had a bad thing to say about Jim. They may not agree with all of his votes, just like me, but they don't have a bad word to say about him.
Yeah, and I did call Tom Brady about 30 minutes ago. He kind of got wind of what was going on, so I asked Tom if he was still interested in being appointed to the council. So he is going to. I know Tom is going to put his name in the hat. Now, I don't know if the process for the first meeting in January is too early, or if maybe you'll start talking about it then, and then there'll be a deadline for applications or whatever you want to call them for people to put their name in. But I know now, for those of you that don't know, Tom came in second during the recall behind Rebecca Link. By 7 votes, he lost to Rebecca, and Rebecca was appointed to Karen's position. So, and John got to keep his. Oh, yeah, I don't need to rehash the whole thing, but Tom is interested in being appointed, so he'll put his name. I'm sure there'll be others. I mean, when Bill Veach stepped off the council, there was quite a few. And the challenge with the council is now that there's only 4 voters.
Right.
So I know last time you guys had some issues because you couldn't get a majority.
Then? Oh,
well,
geez.
what'll happen is at our next meeting, obviously, we'll get clarification from the town attorney on what exactly it means. We'll most likely have to, as a council, let staff know what the time period would be, because you have to show you're interested, fill out your paperwork. The clerk has to verify all that. So it's not going to happen more than likely right away. Right. It's going to be some discussion. The council will have to vote on the amount of time it's going to take, or you want to allow people to put their name in. And then obviously the clerk has to vet it. Then it will come before council, just like it did when Bill Veach stepped down. And then there'll be the whole process of selecting who you want to fill that seat. But there are some unanswered questions, I think, that we've talked about already that we'll discuss at the next meeting. And hopefully at the end of the meeting on June 5th, we'll know the direction we're heading.
So people will put in their name, file their paperwork, and then they come before you. You guys, what do you interact with them, ask questions? Explain to people how that works.
Yeah, so they'll have so much time. There'll be a window of time, whatever that's going to be, we'll have to vote on. But there'll be a window of time for people to submit their interest to the town clerk. Then she will have to vet it, obviously verify that they're able to be appointed to council. And then from there, it'll come to us with whether there's 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, will come before the council and we'll discuss it. And at that time, people will have the opportunity to come up and, make their pitch to the council. And then at the end of the day, the 4 remaining council members will select the next person to sit in that seat until the next election, whatever that election is.
Yeah. And if 2 of you vote, how do you?
Do you need 3 or 4?
Yeah.
You would need 3.
Okay.
You would need 3. So how it works is if there's a 2-2 vote, essentially that on a regular vote, say you're voting for the color of the paint on that wall. If it's a 2-2 vote, that is basically a no vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dead. You got to do it over.
It's a dead vote. Yeah.
Yeah, and what happened was you guys were voting and voting and voting, and then people eventually. I don't remember. I wish I tried.
There were some people that backed out.
Yeah.
Jim Bowen backed out.
Jim Bowen. Yeah.
A couple other people. So it eventually it worked its way down to where we got.
Yeah, and just I'm not going to read all too much. I just want to. This is what the charter says: a vacancy on the council, except for mayor, shall be filled by the appointment by majority vote of the council members remaining, and said appointment shall be effective until a successor is chosen at the next regular election. So that'll take some lawyering right there.
Yeah, I'm sure Nancy's well aware of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll inform us what exactly that means.
Yeah, because I think getting a free ride for 3 years from the voters
doesn't sound right.
is a little unusual. I mean, the next regular election to me would be next November, and
that I think that clarification is going to be necessary because that may determine people that do or don't want to.
So let me ask you this, Dan: why can't the council, determine that? Like, why can't you say, listen, we think the next regular election is November and not in 3 years? Why can you?
And maybe we can. I mean, we have to talk to the attorney, and the attorney is going to tell us what their interpretation of that means.
Gotcha.
I don't know if we can. I'm not an attorney, but I don't know if we can. Obviously, her recommendation is her recommendation. We're the policy setters. We'll see what she says. It's too early to tell, but we know it's at least going to be at the shortest length of time next November, longest 2028.
Yeah. So we do have a couple other quick things to talk about. Unless you have something else you want to add. Do you have something else you want to say?
No,
How was your holiday?
I didn't mean that.
It was good. It was about just about Jim. I wish Jim and Brenda all the best in their next adventures. I know they just had a new grandbaby, and they're pretty excited about that. And one of their sons moved out of the area recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wish them nothing but the best. They've been great people to us and the community, like I've said, and whatever they're going to do, he'll be successful.
Having
a grandbaby.
And they have a new grandbaby. We know how that feels.
Yeah. It changes your life.
It changes your perspective on
Sure. And
how you spend your time.
At the end of the day, none of us are getting any younger, right?
Right.
We're not getting any younger.
Speak for yourself, Dan.
Yeah, well, that's true. You look like you never age. I look like
you guys?
I don't know about that.
Now, we had some people come to the show. Were you surprised? Were you guys surprised? Not surprised.
Some were nodding yes, some were nodding no.
Everybody here thought it was fireworks. That's what they thought. They thought
really?
there was going to be new fireworks. Ed, were you guys surprised over there?
He's not listening.
Half and half.
Half and half.
Well, they never guessed it. They all were hoping for fireworks. So I guess we'll find out the 4th of July how much people are willing to put it up.
I guess I never thought about the fireworks part of it. But
so the other things, real quick, and then
since we're talking about the fireworks,
go right ahead.
This for some of the news stations out there that like to report that this decision was just made with the fireworks. This decision was made back in September. It wasn't, and I know a lot of people don't pay attention, obviously, to the local media stations or to Beach Talk Radio or posts from the town's Facebook page, and have made plans to come down, assuming that there's going to be fireworks. And certainly sorry that if that's the reason you booked your plans. Anybody that's been down here knows you could sit on the beach and see fireworks on a clear day. You can see them from any direction. So you'll still be able to see them. It won't be as close, but we had to make a tough decision back at budget time. And that was a very expensive, much more expensive now because of the pier and having to do them off a barge. I mean, that more than doubled the cost to do it.
Well, it also made it much more complicated because there was a lot of people that were like, well, what if somebody comes up with the money? But you can't do it.
You got to schedule.
You have to schedule
the
it
county
because
sheriff's
of the
department.
Well, and the barge too. Like you have
barge company needs to know probably further south than anyone.
Far be it from me to stick my nose in anything. I you know how I am. I like to just sit on the sidelines and not stick my nose in anything. But I did get an email from somebody that was willing to donate a barge for fireworks. Obviously, it was too late to do it for next week, but I did send the information to Will and Abigail's a new PIO, and maybe for 4th of July, you'll have a barge out there, but it's still going to cost money for fireworks. And to be honest with you, people, the residents of Fort Myers Beach should not have to pay for fireworks. I mean, it isn't something I think, and I have no decision-making power. We'll see how it goes without fireworks on New Year's Eve. And, I think other people should step up and pay for it. It's not it's not on the residents to pay for fireworks for everybody else. I think that there's a plan there, in the works. But if you don't have to pay for the barge, because the guy wanted to donate the barge, that's a pretty cool.
That's a hefty.
Yeah.
And that the barge is just, again, one part of it. The scheduling with the Lee County Sheriff's deputies to be able to have enough people on staff to work that, because you've got to close the bridge down. There's a lot of moving parts that go into it. It's not just lighting off fireworks. We talked about, can we do it from Bay Oaks, but because of the restrictions for the fire side of it, you can't do it from there. So our island's only so wide. We don't have a lot of options to be able to do the fireworks, and without having the pier there, our only option is to do it. And we looked at doing drones, and but it still comes down to money. In a budget crisis that we had to make a decision, and that was, I say it all the time, that was the low hanging fruit, and nobody wants to see it more than I do, because I know what it means to the local businesses here. But we had to make a decision. I think it was the right one.
And I think it'll also be interesting. People will see what it's like not having them, and then other people have to say, okay, we need to bring this back, but we're willing to step up instead of putting it on the backs of the taxpayers when you're going through what you're going through. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was, I actually think the traffic lights so far, I mean, maybe it's not crazy with traffic, because I never come to the beach on a Friday at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but the traffic was flowing pretty smoothly until you get to the bridge. And then the problem, I think, I could be wrong, Dan, is one last traffic light that's not working. And I know it's not your light, it's the county light, but that's causing a backup on the bridge.
Well, I mean, I think it's too early to tell the overall. I mean, we're just the day after Christmas. Come talk to me in the middle of January. We'll see if you still have that same.
I'm not coming at this time.
We'll see if you have that same attitude. But what I noticed today coming over the bridge to come to the show was that it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. You're going to start to see people now that used to try to merge at Buttonwood or at Prescott are now following the lanes up to the top of the bridge and coming over the bridge. And then they're trying to merge at the last minute. And now they're stopping traffic on both the through lane and the turn lane, because they
don't know yet.
Well, no, either they know or they don't know, whatever, but they're doing, which we all see, the late mergers that think, I'm going to go in this lane as far as I can, and then I'm going to try to cut over. And then you have the people like, I've been waiting this for 45 minutes. I'm not letting you in. So I think we're starting to see some of that. I mean, I sat on the top of the bridge. It took me from the top of the bridge to get here. It took me almost 40 minutes.
Did you stay in the right-hand lane?
I was in the right-hand lane, yes.
See, that when I came over, I got in the right-hand lane because I wanted to turn right, and I waited, and the left lane's going and the left lane's going. Now I know, because we come down here a lot, that I can go in the left and kind of take a left and come around up on Crescent. And I was like, and finally I did that. So much better. So I didn't see as many people. I hear what you're saying. We saw it the other day, late mergers. I didn't see that so much as just the holdup up here, and I don't know if it's going to get fixed by a light. There's a lot of cars, but if you live here,
just having a stop sign there and nobody directing traffic.
Yeah.
Every car has to stop. Every pedestrian that's going across. Yes. There's nobody directing the pedestrian traffic.
Go left and just keep going around. I mean, it's a little tough to take a left there by Margaritaville, but people are nice. They'll let you in.
Well, eventually we're coming up on what the traffic season that we all are 100% aware of. The emails are going to start coming in. What are you going to do about traffic? And, I would much rather have the emails coming in complaining about traffic than why are all the businesses closing?
Yeah.
Why are people not coming to the island? So, I mean, it's a catch-22 in this circumstance, but we're coming up on it. People got to prepare yourself. It's not anything. This island is new. It's nothing new.
No,
park at the base of the bridge where it's free and walk over. It's not that far.
Don't be so lazy. Right.
Ride your bikes. I mean, there's other ways you can.
I mean, if you can, there are people who physically can't do that. I'm not saying,
Okay,
you
with
got to
your
stress
disclaimer.
yourself out, but
so do you think there's any possibility that the town will try to reach out to LCSO and hire a traffic director in that spot there when it gets busy?
Well, I know Will's been having conversations.
I don't know what to call it.
Well,
I don't want to call it a traffic cop because I'm sure Commander Layla will call me.
Last year, the town hired a firm to go out and do that. I know we have reached out to the county about putting a temporary, one of those temporary things, but that can't be done for certain safety reasons. So I don't know what the solution is yet. Ideally, getting that fixed, but I know the county is looking at elevating the electric there so that we never have to hopefully deal with this again.
Honestly,
But I
I
don't know
think
where
a
that's at.
person that can see there's not a lot of traffic that way and that can just move that along, because those men and women who have been in that position, they're on it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like,
They know what's going
they
on.
know what they got,
Yeah.
the hand
You know, it all-
signals,
it
everything.
all comes down to money, right? The county sheriff's officers don't work for free. Most people don't
Well,
work for free.
lights don't get put up for free
True.
either.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, the Detroit Lions suck or what, man? Jeez, it made your team look. Holy smokes!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I mean,
it made his team look like they were world champions with a 14th rated quarterback.
Our defense
Yes.
certainly
Yeah.
stepped up. They played probably the best game they've played in a long time, and to win that game with only 3 passing yards.
You guys are giving me booze. Your quarterback threw like 5 interceptions. I mean, what was that all about?
Yeah.
That was horrible. Jeez. Terrible. Oh, now she's a Bears fan. 5 minutes ago, she was a Lions fan.
No,
Yeah.
no.
All right. So
someone said to me today there's a massive influx at the return line at Walmart to return their Detroit Lions shirts this year. That's harsh.
yeah, try being a Giants fan. Hey,
I didn't say it. I'm just repeating.
So before we get to the quick recap on FEMA, just so you all know, on the South End, I know some of you are watching on the South End, and the Italian Kitchen, the target date is now Monday for them to open in Santini Plaza. Now, I'm going to say this, but I don't want you all to follow us over there because we've been invited to a soft opening tonight right after the show. So we're going to go over there and shoot some pictures and video. Yeah, you got to know some people. That's what it is. So we know the mayor. So
don't ever tell him a secret because he cannot keep a secret.
No, I saw they've been inviting a few people. I'm sure they want to test things out just like everybody does. And I said, I
wish I had done that before we got married. Tested you out.
Okay.
I might not have. I don't know.
you're out there now.
I'm not saying a thing.
So
a test run.
We're gonna have some pictures and video from the inside. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the inside of the place. Looks fabulous right now. And so we're gonna go over there and test out the food and the drinks just to see how they are and let you all know. I'm sure the drinks are gonna be fine. And they're planning to open on Monday. So hopefully everybody will be happy on the South End because something will be open down there. So
they won't be hangry.
Yeah.
Well, bring your patients because they're going to be busy.
Yeah.
I said to them, you're going to run out of food. That's just the MO for a new restaurant that opens on the beach. They run out of food. So, and lastly, the FEMA discount is back. The 25% discount is back. And you guys worked your arses off for that. And congratulations.
Yeah,
the team,
big.
Will and Dr. Kohler and the entire staff and you really killed it.
It started. Dr. Kohler and Will and his staff, they really dug in and got it across the finish line. But I think we really need to thank Andy Hyatt and his staff because it all started back when he was here, and he and I made several trips up to DC to sit in front of people and. That's why I always get the hair on the back of my neck stands up when people say, why aren't you pushing back and fighting on FEMA? If you had any idea the amount of meetings we've had and the fighting we have done on the town's behalf when Andy was here to try to get this done and then get clarification as to we've provided you information that you've asked for, but now it's not good enough. Now you want this. And I think Dr. Kohler and her hard work and Will, obviously, and Frankie, who's been involved in it since the beginning. I think the entire team did a really, really good job. It's been hard to sit on this information. We've known about it for a little while. So, but, we wanted to obviously make sure that we have received the official letter. We weren't sure if we were going to get back to the category 5 from our understanding.
Which is 25%.
Which is 25%, which our understanding is one of the highest, if not the highest level you're probably going to get as a barrier island.
Okay.
So we're certainly thankful. We had a good inclination that we knew we were off probation and we knew we were getting back in the CRS program, but we weren't 100% sure on what we were obviously hoping for where we were before, but planning for just being at a 9 or a 10 or, even a 7. And the initial information we got back was probably around a 7. So when we got word that we were going to be at the 5, the recommendation was accepted and we were brought back in at a 5 starting in April. Obviously, the entire staff was ecstatic, but we wanted to make sure we didn't say anything about it until we had the official letter
Right.
from FEMA stating
Because
it.
you never know with FEMA.
Well, we've had, I could tell you the last meeting that I had with FEMA, Andy was there, Nancy was there, and we sat, and then the entire team from Atlanta was there, and then the two head people from FEMA were sitting in that room, and we're like, well, that's not what this is what you've told us, and I was like, we never said that, and Nancy was right on point. I would look over to Nancy, she'd hand me the piece of paper, and I'd shove it in their face and say, well, whose name is on this official letter that we got that actually says what I just said you said, but you're saying you didn't say? And that I think is when the light bulbs kind of changed. Obviously, Congressman Donalds and Senator Scott. Senator Scott was instrumental in helping us get answers to our questions, where we would submit detailed questions that we would look for answers, and we wouldn't get them back. So he was very helpful in submitting those questions on our behalf to get some answers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Congressman Donalds was gracious enough to get on a phone with Will and myself and the team from Region 4 and say, listen, what do these guys need to go through? They've jumped through every hoop. What's happening? And to FEMA's point, they told the congressman on the phone, they're like, sir, we're just enforcing the policies. And I think that's when a light went off in Congressman Donald's head. He's like, okay, this is a policy thing. That's something I can control. But at the end of the day, they were just enforcing what they felt they had to enforce. And we did what we had to do to make sure we got that discount back. So it's been a lot of, there's not one person that deserves more credit than the other, because there have been literally 50 to 100 people helping try to get this done. And we're just thankful that it's back. Hopefully everybody is happy about that.
Can I just ask, because you said because it's a barrier island, you think that's the best that it can be, even with all of the new buildings going up and all of the new.
Well, that's what there's been no official letter that has said that, but it's just in the conversations with FEMA.
When can they read? Like, when can you apply to have it reviewed?
Well, I don't know if it's every year, but you can. It's a continual thing. If you remember, just before the storm hit, we went from a 7 to a 5. When Roger was still here, we talked about.
Well, I can see them making it worse for you guys. I can't see them volunteering to come down and make it better. So
no, it basically comes down to how you're making your community more resilient. What policies are you putting in place to make it so that people don't lose everything when a storm hits? That's essentially what they're looking at. So if you can get creative and come up with things, that's what we talked about at your show on Sunday. If we can come up, people that are much smarter than me come up with ideas of trying to be more resilient, be more creative, but solve a problem. Those, I think, are the things that will help elevate you even to the next level. Because we're certainly not going to stop at a 5. I could tell you, Will and Tracy and the team are always constantly looking for ways to improve, and they know that this council they have their full support to do what we have to do to make sure we can get the biggest discount for the people that we can.
But there's no standard review, yearly review that you know of, or every 5 years, or
I know.
Ring a ding ding the number and say, hey, come take a look. This is what we're doing.
I believe it's every year, and if Will or somebody's paying attention, they can answer. But I believe you can submit every year for a CAV reassessment. Maybe it's every 3 years. I don't know if Chelsea's watching. She probably could answer that question too. But I don't know if it's every year, every 3 years. But
well, what do the residents need to do that were in it, then lost it? Do they need to do anything?
No, my understanding is that it's April is when the policies renew. So if you're a new policy holder, or if you're an existing policy holder, you should see that 25% discount. Now, they don't spell it out on your insurance. It doesn't say this is your FEMA 25% discount. So as you've seen over the last couple of years, some people are like, well, it's only cost me $14. Some people, commercial buildings especially, it's cost them much more. So we focus a lot on residential, but in commercial, this is going to save, condos are considered commercial. So that it saves them a ton of money.
Wow. Well, good.
Can you promise there will be no more breaking news until the new year, please?
I sure hope so. I mean, I sure hope so. It seems like every time we, this island never lets you down for information.
No.
Can I just say that
information and or drama.
Can I just say that we never come to the beach on Christmas Day, but yesterday, because Jillian and Hudson and Warren came over for breakfast, we were like, let's go to the beach. So we came to the beach. The beach was packed. The weather was perfect. It was nice to see all the restaurants filled with people. So it really was a great day yesterday.
Yeah, it was busy. And some businesses, Megan and I just walked around the island and checked it out too until the game. And we went home and watched the game and hung out with the dogs and didn't really do a lot. It was kind of a nice day to just hang out. But there were some businesses that closed down, which tells you that they probably need a breather. They need a day to recoup and recharge their batteries.
And let their families have the day.
Let their families have the day. But
yeah.
every restaurant we walked through, every place we went was packed.
Yeah.
I didn't find one place that was empty. So it was great to see that people are coming down and spending money, but that's what we've been working for, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a very busy season. So people need to have their patience, especially when it comes to traffic. Plan your days accordingly. If you're going to leave the island, make a day of it. Anytime Megan and I have to go off the island, we just make a day of it and do everything we need to do that day. So just plan accordingly, bring your patience. We fully understand the traffic issue. We'll do everything we can to help mitigate it, but it's coming. So just prepare yourself.
Okay, and
coming.
the next town council meeting is Monday, January 5th, I
5th.
think is right.
5th,
And that's
yep.
kind of when the rest of what we talked about at the beginning of the show will kind of be.
Yeah,
all
and
the
then our
groundwork.
MMP meeting that week has been canceled. Staff hasn't had time to prepare
Okay.
all the discussion stuff.
And you guys might have read some of my newsletters, our newsletters, that London Bay was planning to be at the LPA in January. That might not happen. That might not happen in the first. I laugh because obviously this change will have an impact on London Bay. I think, but I was told that they might not be ready in January, so maybe it'll be in February or maybe not. So we'll see what happens in the big projects that are coming up. Have you heard anything? And then we'll let you go. Have you heard anything more since last Sunday when we spoke about the cottage from Paul? Have you heard anything? He was going to meet Monday with Seagate because they're now the builder. Have you heard from them?
I haven't really heard anything definitive, and anything should come from Paul or
Okay.
Seagate, in my opinion, if there's a change. So looking forward to hearing from it as much as everybody else is. Cottage has been around a long time. Everybody can tell you all kinds of stories about the cottage. When
Yeah.
when the old beached whale stopped playing music because they built that outside patio area, so that part of the negotiations where they couldn't have music. That, as soon as the whale would close, everybody go across the street and watch the music at the cottage. So
Nice.
people love the cottage. They've already been through, got their approval, so that the council's on board with them building back. I thought Paul did a great job on Sunday. Obviously he's frustrated and we completely understand it, but it sounds to me like he understands why, this process is in place and what we have to do. But hopefully he and Seagate can find a path forward to get this done.
All right. Can we get a big hand for the mayor of Fort Myers Beach, everybody? Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Just before we go, I just want to say one last time, thanks, Jim, for all your hard work. You've been a great colleague, but a better friend.
Oh, I thought you were going to make it. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in and watching our special show. I don't know if I'm happy with that. I'm definitely not happy with that news. But
No.
Not
no,
at all.
no,
But I'm happy for those guys with their
I
new
know.
family member and whatever they're planning to do.
Yep.
But
They will be greatly missed.
yes. Thank you all for tuning in, and we appreciate you. By the way, all of the red sweatshirts that I had posted about 2 hours ago have been sold, so thank you all for that. We are ordering more today, so thank you for buying our merchandise. It just took a little color change, like the
Yes.
red you're wearing. Very nice.
I
We
know.
will not have any shows this weekend, so you all have a happy new year. We'll see
He
you.
says that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see you Wednesday at Diamond Head Resort for our third annual 5K to benefit the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. And it's going to be 35 degrees out. So wear your long John Silvers.
Yes.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.